All right, so have you heard about this? This 19-year-old kid, I mean, what's going on?
What, with what is it, the DOGE thing?
Yeah, the whole DOGE thing, right? This kid online, he uses this pretty crazy nickname.
Oh, right, Big Balls.
Yeah, big balls. And now he's somehow like a senior advisor in the government, like the State Department, even CISA.
Seriously.
I know, right? It's wild. And he's part of Elon Musk's Department of Government Efficiency. DOGE.
DOGE?
DOGE. And get this, they've been given like sweeping access to official networks.
Wait, hold on. A 19-year-old with like no real experience, and he's got access to everything.
That's what it sounds like. And there's more. We dove deep into some recent reports from Reuters, Democracy Now!, even The Independent. And there's this whole thing about this kid, Edward Coristine, Big Balls, remember? And his alleged ties to a cybercrime group.
Godly.
Okay, this is getting interesting. Cybercrime. Like, what kind of stuff are we talking about? We're going to lay it all out. We're talking alleged connections between his company, DiamondCDN, and eGodly, and the nature of their activities. We're talking about the alleged cyber stalking of an FBI agent. Like, this is serious stuff. And then there's the whole question of Coristine's current position, his access, and, no one's really talking about it.
So we're basically looking at a potential security nightmare wrapped in a government efficiency project led by a teenager with a questionable past and a provocative nickname.
Pretty much. And, this isn't just some tech world drama. This matters because it raises questions about how the government works, who has access to sensitive information, the whole idea of cybersecurity and public trust.
Right, because if we can't trust the people who have access to our systems, then what does that say about the security of those systems? Or the judgment of the people who gave them access in the first place?
Okay, let's rewind a bit. So back in 2022, Coristine, still in high school, starts this company, DiamondCDN. They offer network services, things like DDoS protection, caching, that sort of thing. And they promote themselves as having, like, excellent security tools.
Excellent security tools.
Yeah.
That's interesting considering what we know about eGodly.
Exactly. And that's where the digital trail gets kind of wild. There are these digital records from domain tools and these are tools that researchers use to track websites and connections.
Gotcha.
And these records link eGodly's website, dataleak.fun, to IP addresses registered to DiamondCDN and other stuff connected to Coristine. And this is between October 2022 and June 2023.
So during the same time he's running the security company.
Right. But it gets even more concrete. February 15th, 2023. eGodly posts this public thank you on Telegram to DiamondCDN. They specifically say amazing DDoS protection and caching systems and how it helps them securely host and safeguard our website.
Wow. So it's not even settled. They're outright thanking them.
Right. And then there's this. Reuters reports that sometimes people trying to get to eGodly's website would hit a DiamondCDN security check.
Oh, come on. That's like finding a security guard's badge at a crime scene.
Yeah, it's not a good look. So what were eGodly up to? Well, according to these reports, they were busy. In 2023, they're bragging on Telegram about, like, everything. Hijacking phone numbers, hacking law enforcement emails in Latin America and Eastern Europe, stealing cryptocurrency.
So they're not just some script kiddies messing around. This is organized cybercrime.
It seems that way, but here's the thing that's really disturbing. They allegedly cyberstalked an FBI agent. Early 2023, they put his personal phone number, photos of his house, all over Telegram.
Oh, man. That's way beyond the line.
And they didn't stop there. They post a recording of a prank call they made to the agent. And then, get this, a video of what seems to be a drive-by harassment at his house in Wilmington, Delaware.
Wait, are you serious?
Dead serious. And Reuters actually went to the location and confirmed that's where the video was taken. And in the video, you can hear someone yelling, eGodly says, "You're a bee."
That's just, talk about crossing a line. That's intimidation. That's a threat.
It's messed up. And it gets worse. The FBI agent, he's retired now, he told Reuters that eGodly was already on law enforcement's radar because of their alleged connection to swatting. Those fake emergency calls to get SWAT teams sent to people's homes.
Right. So this wasn't just some harmless online prank. This was a group engaging in serious, potentially dangerous criminal activity.
Okay, fast forward to now. This 19-year-old who was allegedly providing services to these guys is now a senior advisor at the State Department and CISA.
Hold on. Senior advisor. At 19, what are his qualifications? Besides being a tech whiz kid.
Right. His LinkedIn says he's a volunteer intern plumber and mentions a 4-month internship at Neuralink.
So, yeah, tech skills. But senior advisor to the State Department, that just doesn't add up.
And here's the thing. Neither Coristine nor Elon Musk's DOGE team have responded to any requests for comment on these allegations.
Of course not. What are they going to say? Oh, yeah, we hired a kid with ties to cyber criminals to advise on government efficiency. No big deal.
And this is where the alarm bells really start ringing, especially for people who've been in the thick of it. Nitin Natarajan, former deputy director of CISA, he's really concerned. He points to the recency of the activity and the types of groups Coristine was allegedly involved with. He said, and I quote, "This stuff was not in the distant past. The recency of the activity and the types of groups he was associated would definitely be concerning."
He's right to be concerned. We're not talking about ancient history here. This is recent stuff. And with DOGE having sweeping access to official networks.
Right, exactly. That's the really scary part. This kid, with his alleged connections to cybercrime, potentially has access to highly sensitive information.
And this whole situation raises huge questions about DOGE's vetting process. Like, did they even bother to do a background check? Did they just take Elon Musk's word for it?
Especially since Musk publicly called Coristine awesome on X.
Look, a tweet from Elon Musk isn't exactly a security clearance.
No. And to add to the whole picture, there are these other incidents with Coristine. Dropped out of Northeastern University, apparently got fired from a cybersecurity internship for allegedly leaking information, and reportedly active in online communities linked to cybercrime.
Okay, so there's a pattern here.
And just to add a little more intrigue, his grandfather was a KGB officer who became an FBI informant and was executed as a double agent.
Wow. Talk about a family history. But seriously, this kid has a background that screams red flag.
And Paul Begala, the Democratic strategist, publicly questioned the wisdom of giving someone known as Big Balls so much responsibility.
I mean, yeah, that's not exactly inspiring confidence in the government's decision-making process, is it?
And this whole situation kind of points to a bigger issue, right? This whole trend of outsourcing government functions, relying on the private sector for, like, essential stuff. It's great to bring in expertise, but what about oversight? What about accountability? What about security?
Exactly. When you're dealing with things like national security and sensitive information, you can't just hand over the keys to the kingdom without doing your due diligence. This situation should be a wake-up call.
So the big question we're left with is this. What happens when someone with alleged ties to cybercrime gets access to the inner workings of our government?
It's a question that should make everyone uncomfortable, because the answer could have serious implications for our national security, our privacy, our democracy.
So to sum it up, we've got Edward Coristine, a.k.a. Big Balls, with documented links to a cybercrime group, eGodly, a group accused of some pretty serious stuff, including cyberstalking an FBI agent. He's now a senior advisor with access to who knows what, and no one's really talking about it.
And the lack of transparency around his appointment and the potential security risks it poses should be a major concern for everyone. Because at the end of the day, this isn't just about one kid or one company or even one government program. This is about the future of our government and the trust we place in it.
And that brings us to the big takeaway. As we rely more and more on people outside the government for essential functions, we need to be asking some hard questions. What are the risks? What are the safeguards? How do we balance innovation with security? And ultimately, who is really in control?
Because the line between progress and recklessness can be thin. And in the world of cybersecurity, the consequences of a misstep can be devastating. So we need to be vigilant. We need to demand accountability, and we need to make sure that the people we trust with our security are worthy of that trust.
And that's something for all of us to think about.